Welcome to Steve and Jenny's Star Tour. I'm Steve, this is Jenny. Tonight we watched arguably the best movie, Empire Strikes Back. Jenny, what'd you think?
I really liked it. I think it was leagues better production-wise than the first one.
Yes.
So
lightsabers alone.
Yes.
This is a big improvement.
Well, I think that was my biggest critique about the first one, is the lightsabers were so bad, it takes you out of it.
Yeah, they were very flat.
Yes.
Yeah, but in this one, they're a lot better. And I looked over at you when Luke first ignited it, and you're like,
yeah. Okay. All right, I'm down with this.
Yeah, but like we were saying off camera, how in just 3 years, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
How much the production increased.
Yeah, definitely.
And just how much better it got. But yeah, I freaking love this movie so much, and unfortunately Jenny knew the plot twist going in, but
yeah,
it's still really cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen the scene with the big reveal, so when they started their fight, I was like, oh, this is gonna be it, and then finally when I recognized the background they were in, I was like, oh, this is definitely it. It still gets you on your edge of your seat,
cool. Yeah, it's
you're
awesome.
finally gonna see it.
I remember my dad was saying how when he saw it in theaters, when that scene happened, the entire theater was just like, what? Pandemonium. Oh, it was great.
I really wish I didn't know all the spoilers going.
Yeah,
it's for the authentic.
There are still a couple spoilers that I think you might not know about.
Okay.
Specifically, some of the stuff in the prequels and the sequels, maybe.
The prequels I really don't know anything about.
Okay.
The new movies, since I'm on all the Disney forums on Facebook and everything, it's pretty quick to spoil.
Yeah, that's true.
But the prequels I don't really know much about.
Okay.
So I am looking forward to
There's
those.
not that many big spoilers in the prequels. But there are moments. I don't know if those any spoilers. Because it's setting up these movies, so you know what's gonna happen. But there are moments in the prequels where it's oh, okay. Granted, there's not many, but but yeah, this movie's so good. This is the Star Wars movie I've watched the most.
Okay.
I've watched this one the most. This is my favorite. But I just love everything about it. Just from how I feel it flows really well too.
Yeah, it says on the screen it's 2 hours. It did not feel like 2 hours.
No, it didn't feel like it because
the more I think about it, I'm like, well, that is kind of a long movie, especially for back then. That's a long movie. What would I cut out? And I'm like, there's really
nothing.
Nothing.
Everything was great.
Everything's great or important, or there's nothing that I was like, oh, come on, hurry up.
You're right.
It was all well paced and thought out.
So last time, we're gonna go through the whole movie and discuss it. So we'll start with the beginning with Hoth.
Yes.
So what'd you think of that?
Okay, I have to admit, it did start a little slow, but it was really I really enjoyed it. I mean, seeing Han go after Luke really showed how much his character's developed, and I've grown to like Han a lot more now. I wasn't too big on him in the first movie, but I've really grown on him.
He's fantastic in this movie.
Yes,
Harrison Ford does a great job too.
Yes.
Harrison Ford wanted Han to make a heroic sacrifice in this one, and be killed off, and they didn't do it. And ever since then, Harrison Ford has been trying to get Han killed off.
I mean, kind of in this one.
Yeah, he does get frozen, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I think the thing I really like about the Hoth scene is that, I'm sure you probably picked up on it, most of the stuff was stop motion. The Tauntauns were all stop motion. When they were farther away. When they were close up, it's animatronics, but when they were farther away, it was all stop motion. The walkers were all stop motion. And I feel with the Tauntaun, when they're stop motion, they're a little bit more noticeable, but when the walkers, they move so slowly that it's really hard to tell if they're stop motion.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
it was nice, smooth
the AT-ATs look really good in this, even all this time later.
It was really cool on that scene too, when you're flying in between the legs of the walkers.
Yeah,
because that's straight out of Star Tours.
Or rather, Star Tours took it straight out of this. But
well, yeah.
But no, it's a scene in Star Tours.
I've written Star Tours so many times. So many times before.
I always love when we go to Hoth and do that.
And now I know, oh, that's Hoth. I just always oh, look, it's snowing. But I'm never oh, this was the Rebel base in Episode 5.
That's great.
So now I know. And it's really cool to, live the scenes now, I guess.
It's so
Even
cool.
though other people do it the opposite way, like they watch them and then go live them in Disney World.
So it's a unique experience here now, to do it the opposite way.
Yeah.
I also really like how this movie introduces a lot more stuff with the Force. Because like with the Force in episode 4, all we really saw the Force do was like mind tricks.
Yes.
And like voices. That was really it. In this one, we get to see Luke like literally grab his lightsaber with the Force to cut himself down from the
right away.
The Wampa. That's the name of the creature, by the way.
Oh.
Wampa is the big snow monster.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Wumpa, which is the fruit from Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, like when
See, I was gonna call him the Yeti from Expedition Everest, but he's moving. So.
Literally. But yeah, that was cool when we see him do that. And Han used a lightsaber in this movie.
Yeah,
to cut open the
really
tauntaun.
off guard. I thought like only people Force sensitive could use them or something.
No. Well, only people who are Force sensitive can use them well because they're like trained to it. But actually, not even that. I feel like it's the same as like any other sword, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you wielded it before you can use it. And Han didn't really like wield it to fight. He just kind of cut the tauntaun open to keep Luke warm.
Yeah.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Alright, that was really gross. It
was, yeah. I do love that line though. You were saying how like, man, if both the tauntaun is dead and Luke's like suffering, it's impressive for Han to build a shelter.
Yeah, I mean, the tauntaun went down so quickly. Luke is like injured and freezing to death, and Han's just like, I'm gonna put up a shelter and survive all night, and I'm like, damn.
Do you want to know why Mark Hamill got hit on this side of the face?
What?
He was in a car accident before this movie.
Oh.
And it like fucked his face up.
Oh.
So to like remedy that, they had the Wampa attack him on that side of the face, so they'd have an excuse to have his face look like that.
Okay.
There's also we will not be watching this. We will not be watching this. The Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
There's a scene where Luke's in that, and this was after he was in the accident. So what they do is to hide his face, they just fill the room with smoke. And like it's like some accident that R2 does, and like they do that, and I'm like, it's just interesting to see like the creative ways that they did it. But we're not watching that.
Okay.
I can't sit through that. I cannot sit through that. It's so painful. That's also the first time we saw Boba Fett.
Oh, so you're supposed to watch that before this?
No, you're not supposed to watch that before this.
Oh.
But it's just it's a little cameo. It's the first time we see Boba Fett. Even though technically you saw Boba Fett in episode 4 with the Jabba the Hutt scene, but that scene was added later.
Right.
That was a deleted scene that they added back in.
Okay.
So people didn't see Boba Fett until the holiday special, which is the only reason people ever cared about it. It's not good. But Boba Fett's in this one too, and he...
And Boba Fett was
yeah, pretty much. Oh, wait, do you see the next one?
He was still there?
We're getting off course. So after Hoth, I like the fights when they're taking down the AT-ATs and like like they're towing the cables and Dak does nothing and dies. Yeah. Poor Dak.
Rip.
I can take on the whole Empire by myself. Oh, no, never mind.
Not the first 20 minutes of the movie, you can.
But I also think the Hoth is a really nice location too. Like I'm a sucker for like snowy areas. Yeah. Which is why Star Wars tends to use snowy areas a lot, especially with the sequels. There's a lot of those. I'm sorry, salt. We'll get to that later. When we get to Last Jedi, we'll get to that. But and Jenny pointed out, I never noticed the snowtroopers look a little too much like the KKK. I'm like, oh no. I
was very shocked to see
I never noticed that. I'm like, oh.
How much they look like that.
Yeah. Also, this was the first movie that has the Imperial March in it, which is like the most iconic song in all of Star Wars.
It's nice to hear that.
Yeah, it's such a good fucking song. It's so good. So after Hoth, the Imperials show up and they blow up the base and everything, and they have to escape. And Han and Leia and Chewbacca and 3PO all go one way, and Luke takes R2 and goes to Dagobah, where we meet Yoda. Yes. What'd you think of Yoda?
I I didn't I knew he had his way of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was for like every sentence.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was like that much of it, but you get used to it. Really
yeah, you get used to it. It's not like a certain other character, which we'll meet in the prequels.
Oh.
But yeah, Yoda's speech was. It's a little difficult at first because you're just like, what is this weird creature? Why is he talking like that? But like once he like stops the act and starts speaking more calmly, it's a lot easier to understand
that's
him.
when I pretty much was like, okay, now I got this.
Yeah. And I love that too, how he like plays the fool at first, like he's like, oh, I'll take it, Yoda, and then it's like, I am Yoda.
Surprise.
Surprise. But that Yoda's such a beloved character, and if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's the most quoted Star Wars character.
I believe that because he has so much.
He has so many like wise words and stuff,
and like one-liners. So.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he's the most quoted character in all of Star Wars. I could be wrong, but at least in my experience, it's Yoda.
I saw a video on Facebook the other day actually, and it was an interview with a woman who was a puppeteer for Yoda on episode 5, and she said that it took 3 people to puppeteer Yoda at once.
It sounds about right.
Yeah, between the body, the arms,
and his eyes
ears,
too. His eyes
ears and the eyes.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. And Frank Oz did an amazing job with him. Frank Oz is always great. Whether he's half the cast of the Muppets, or Yoda, or oh god, I can't remember his name. That one Skeksis from Dark Crystal, the one who's always like, That's Frank Oz too. Frank Oz is great. I was really happy. I'll get to this when we talk about it, but Frank Oz, if I'm not mistaken, he did not voice Yoda in the prequels.
Okay.
But he does come back to voice Yoda in Episode 8 because Yoda has a cameo in that movie.
Okay.
That made me really happy. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Frank Oz doesn't voice Yoda in the prequels because his voice sounds too different. But yeah, Yoda's such a lovable character, and I love like when he's like playing the fool and everything, and like he's just whacking R2-D2 with a stick.
That was good.
Oh, it's so good. And then we have the other adventure, which is Han and the others, and they're going through the asteroid field and everything, and C-3PO's being C-3PO.
I love C-3PO.
I do too. He's great.
I love him.
He's so funny in this one.
He's my favorite by far. He's like hands down
I like
favorite.
him a lot. And now let's get into a little bit of controversy here. Jenny, you want to talk about Han and Leia?
I don't like them together. I don't like them together.
Yeah.
Not yet, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, in the first 5 minutes, he's flirting with her in this movie. And I get it. It's been like, what, we agreed like 6 months to a year since 4.
Yeah. Time has clearly passed,
but I didn't see that, so to me, they didn't evolve.
That's fair.
You know, I don't know what they've done. They could have not spoken to each other for 6 months.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, don't make me assume that, like, they've been flirting for 6 months. Unless you're going to tell me, like, come on, we've been flirting for 6 months, and this is all you're giving me. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, they've been flirting. I can see it. No wonder they're at this point. But they just came out of nowhere, and Han the entire movie was, like, flirting with her hardcore. Literally, like, just, I don't want to say, like, forcing himself on her, but, like, pushing really hard for her. And finally she kisses him, and then when he's making the big heroic sacrifice, which I would argue, well, maybe it's not a heroic sacrifice because they're like forcing him to be frozen.
Yeah.
When it's time for him to be frozen, and she finally comes around and says, I love you, he goes, I know. Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, okay, the thing about that...
You've been flirting the entire movie, making moves on her, making passes, you know, as soon as Lando comes in, you're like, nope. You know, and the best you can do is, I know.
Well, here's the thing.
I'd be so freaking pissed.
Han was supposed to say I love you too.
Okay.
That was the written line.
Okay.
Harrison Ford said, Han wouldn't say that. So he improvised and said, I know. And they kept it.
No, that's not the line. You do another take. I'm a film major. I know this was shot probably on film, not on digital.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just that, like, he improv the line and they liked it. So they're like,
well,
alright,
they're
cool.
all wrong. Everyone's wrong.
I still like in the Family Guy parody version. I love you. Fuck off.
That's going to work. I'll be home later. I'll see you in 8 hours. No, as far as they know, he's dying.
Yeah.
And the best you can do is I know. Not even like a funny like joke. Like I thought Han would like crack a joke or something. But he says I know with such a straight like dead face that it's not funny. Like maybe if he was like laughing or smirking or something,
right.
I would have been like, okay, that's Han. But like to just
that's fair, I guess.
To just be like, I know. It's not good.
I feel like the way it was like the whole movie, he's been trying to get her to confess her feelings, and when she finally does, he's like, I know. I spent the whole movie trying to get you to do it. That's kind of how I see it.
No.
Well, their chemistry is explored a little further in the next one anyway. So.
Okay, well maybe I'll grow to like them. And the same is I like Leia as a character, and I love Han as a character.
Yeah.
But this is not meshing well.
The alternative is Luke, and that ain't gonna work out.
No. I know that spoiler.
Yeah.
Or Leia could just be a strong woman who don't need no man. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know, but if they're not together, then they never have a son, and then the sequels never happen. You know, on second thought. But no, I like them, and that's just because like I grew up watching them, and like, keep in mind it's the '80s. Relationships worked differently back then, where it was just kind of an accepted thing to have like a scoundrel be like, "Hey, fuck you. I'm awesome, and I know you like me."
I guess.
I don't know. I never. But like, I don't know. I understand your complaints, but like, it doesn't really bother me.
Okay, I know this is gonna. It just clicked with me. This was 1980. It's 2020.
Yes.
This movie's 40 years old this year.
Fuck. You're right.
Because you just told me it was the 80s,
God.
and I'm looking up at Disney Plus right now, and it says 1980, and I'm like, oh, it's.
Wow.
He's 40 years old.
Holy crap. Anyway,
But yeah, going back to the other.
Yeah, so,
I look forward to seeing their relationship progress, because I know he comes back in, what is it, 6?
6.
So, I look forward to seeing it be better. Because it can't get any worse than what it is at now.
So, well, one thing I really want to mention real quick is I love we're skipping ahead a bit here. I mean, not really. I guess it's like the next thing that happens. I love the design of Cloud City.
Yes.
I think it's so pretty.
Yes.
But both like the orange sky and the atmosphere and
really
the city
like that
itself.
place.
Bespin's beautiful. And then we meet Lando. And Lando, you pretty much nailed it. He's just Han Solo 2.0, essentially.
Did we skip over seeing Palpatine for the first time?
I think we did. You're right.
Yeah,
Yes, we see.
big.
Yeah, we see Palpatine for the first time in this movie.
Yes.
Fun fact: the Palpatine we see in this movie was Ian McDiarmid, who plays Palpatine in every Star Wars movie.
No.
He's in the next one, he's in the prequels, and he's in Episode 9. He was not in 5 originally. Originally, it was a different actor. And his design was completely different. He had like one like big bulging eye or something.
Oh.
It wasn't the best. So when they re-released the movie, they called in Ian McDiarmid and filmed him doing it. And there's been a lot of changes to the original trilogy. Most of them people aren't okay with, like McClunky. But replacing the original Emperor with Ian McDiarmid is the one thing that everyone's like, yeah, okay, we're cool with that.
Yeah, I
because he's so recognizable as Palpatine.
He's almost like the Thanos of this, you know?
You can
only have one actor.
Yeah, and I love how, like, when like, he was about to, like, go on the call, you're just like, I forgot there's someone bigger than Vader.
Yeah.
You know, and once you see it, you're like, oh, yeah.
Everyone's always like, Vader's the villain, Vader's the big villain, and everyone's like, yeah, like,
in the first movie.
He's the villain, but there's a bigger
threat. Wait till you see Palpatine in Episode 6. Yeah. Palpatine's fantastic in Episode 6. Okay. He's so good. And he's amazing in the prequels, especially Episode 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great. That was a big moment. And just there's so many good moments like that in this movie, where it's just they introduce something new, and everyone's like, "I'm on board."
Yep.
Whether it's Lando, Yoda, Palpatine, it's awesome. And Boba Fett, even.
Yeah.
Even though he does nothing.
Boba
And Boba Fett was there.
Yeah, I mean, so we were at Lando. I liked him, but he's basically Han 2.0.
Yeah.
Or version 2.
That's pretty much.
He was even wearing his.
Yeah, he wears his clothes at the end of the movie. But yeah, in the next one, I can't even say he's different in the next one because it's like, yeah, he really is just another Han essentially.
If you like Han, you like him. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no difference. He did something bad,
Mhm.
and then he makes up for it.
Yeah.
And now he's on a rescue mission.
Yeah. And Billy D. Williams is great as him, and I'm
not knocking him. I like him.
No, I know. We'll talk about this when we get to Solo, which is like I think probably the last movie we'll watch. But Donald Glover plays Lando in that movie, and he does a great job with it.
Okay.
He does a really good job with it. Yeah, Lando's a much liked character, which is why when Episode 9 came out, when the first trailer for 9 came out, and we saw Lando, everyone was like, "Oh, Lando's back! Yeah!"
Yeah.
That was like a big moment in that reveal trailer. And I remember that was what made me be like, "All right, sold." And then like every trailer afterwards, I'm like,
Nope.
I mean, I'll still see it for Lando.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lando was Lando. We didn't disappoint. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I love Lando, love Yoda, and just every moment Darth Vader was on screen in this movie was so good.
Oh yeah.
Like the scene where like he's just killing admirals left and right because they failed him, and then he appoints someone else to admiral. Being promoted to admiral is just a death sentence, essentially. Or like when Captain Nita was like, I will apologize to Vader personally, and it just hard cuts to him being like choked.
Yeah.
Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
That was a
It's my
funny one.
favorite line of the movie. I just love Vader. Everything he does. And the fight scene between him and Luke.
Oh, fantastic.
Fucking fantastic. I love that fight. So it's one of my favorites. I don't know if I like that one or the one in 6 more. Because the one in 6 is really good. I don't know, when we watch 6,
Yeah.
I'll make my verdict there. But that fight scene's great. And then like Luke gets his hand cut off. And Vader's like, "I am your father." And Luke's like, "What?"
What?
And
No.
then he jumps down a hole.
He doesn't even jump. He just kind of
He
like.
just kind of falls. I love how Vader's just like, "Come with me." And Luke jumps and Vader's like,
Shit.
And then
I like when he's
Leia
resting on the
rescues him.
ship, and Vader just goes, "Luke," and he goes, "Father."
son. I like that a lot too. But yeah, that after seeing that plot twist, I remember when I was a kid when I first saw that, I was like, wait, what? Hang on. I took me a bit to process it. I'm like, wait a minute. And it wasn't even like, I was less shocked that Vader was his father and more angry that Obi-Wan lied to him.
Yeah,
why didn't you tell him?
he was asking the same question.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I love this movie, and it feels...
So does Leia know that her dad is?
Well, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
She'll find out in the next one.
Okay.
But one thing that I can't really say this about any of the other middle movies. This one feels like the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Where like it sets up clearly after the events, so you already know the characters, so you don't have to introduce them, and it ends on a cliffhanger leading into the next one. The other two sagas trilogies don't really do that. Like especially Last Jedi. Last Jedi is the second movie in the sequel trilogy, and it's kind of like a standalone thing.
Okay.
And even Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones kinda sorta ends on a cliffhanger, but it does still wrap a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
So it's
this one didn't wrap anything up.
No, yeah, because they were saving it for the next one, and
Yeah.
it was very clearly planned with another sequel in mind.
Right.
And that's something that I really like about it, is that, you know, even though it doesn't work as a standalone movie, it still kind of does.
Right.
You know, like, you can still sit down and just watch Empire.
Yeah, like
and have
we
a good
did
time.
tonight.
Like, that's what I did after I watched Rise of Skywalker. I was in the theaters and I saw Rise of Skywalker. I came home, I'm like, alright, time to watch a good one, and put on Empire. And
it just shows how good of a movie it is, that it could still fulfill its role of being a middle movie, but still, you don't feel like you got gypped or anything. You're still,
yeah.
even though it ends on a cliffhanger, you're still content
It's
only
still
watching
satisfying.
this one.
Yeah, it's so good. I love this movie so much. Easily my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll go back and watch it a bunch of times. And I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, I like this one a lot.
So next time we'll be finishing up the original trilogy with Return of the Jedi. So, see you then. Bye.
Bye.